Okay guys, today we're going to continue our work with characterization, only we're going to be having a look at I suppose something different. We're going to have a look at this concept of motivation. So what I want you to do is just pause the video and have a crack at this warm up here, and then we will continue on. Okay, success criteria and your learning intention. So you're learning about the character's motivations and how they shape a character type, and the reasons why you're doing that, or the way you're going to know you're successful, is that you understand that motivation is the why to the what characters do. You can describe the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and also you can identify examples of these motivation types in different characters. So I suppose let's begin with something really simple. What even is motivation? Okay, so in literature and I suppose in real life, motivation is defined as the reason behind a character's actions and their behaviours. It is what makes people do what they do. It's, like I've said a couple of times already, it's the why to the what. So for example, if you look at this donkey here, the only reason that donkey moves forward, okay, so the reason why he moves forward is because of this carrot here. Okay, so this is his motivation. So what I want you to do for a minute is I want you to have a think about what actually motivates you. So for example, why do you clean your room? And there could be a multitude of reasons, but one motivation could be because having a hygienic and ordered living space helps you be a healthy person both physically and mentally. Or another motivation could be because mum will take away my PS4 and I won't be able to play Fortnite, okay? So for these two examples, I want you to think about what are the things that motivate you to do these two things. So just pause the clip now and have a crack at answering that. Okay, we've talked about motivation and we know it's the reason why people do what they do, but you need to understand there's two different types of motivation. So the first one is intrinsic motivation, and this is when someone's motivated to do something because of their beliefs and their values and the things that come from inside them. So one example that I like to use or to think about is that someone might become a teacher because they really value education, or they really value helping others and giving back to society. Another example could be someone playing netball, right? They might play netball because what motivates them to play netball could be that they like achieving something with a group of people. They like to be physically fit. They care about their health and all those things. And all of those motivations, they're intrinsic because they come from within. The second type of motivation is extrinsic motivation, and this is like an external reward. So usually it's like money or power or revenge or even lust. So for example, someone might have become a teacher just because they heard that it pays well and that we get a lot of holidays, okay? That'd be an extrinsic motivation. And if I use netball again, someone might play netball because they care about winning, like getting the rewards and the trophies. They might also get like a payment from their club if they win games, and those would be external motivators or reasons why people might become a teacher or play netball. Okay, this is your first little activity for today, and I've got a list of examples here, and what I want you to do is I want you to identify and then list using this type of diagram here, whether or not they're an intrinsic motivation or extrinsic motivation. So for example, doing sports because you enjoy feeling alive, that would be intrinsic because there's no external motivator there. So for the rest of them, I want you to put them in a table like this, and obviously all this work's going to be done in your OneNote workbook. Okay, so what's the point of identifying the motivation of people? And we're going to have a bit of a chat about that now, because first and foremost, it helps us identify a character's values or even our own values. And also it helps us draw conclusions about the characters within a text and also about the people around you. So let's have a look at the following, and we're going to use the work example again. So staying longer at work because you believe in your work, that would be intrinsic, right? Going to work because you need to earn money, that's extrinsic. Okay, so in this case, if we're intrinsically motivated, it shows that we're emotionally connected to our career. And in the extrinsic example, it shows that we're just there to get money. So I want you to think about these two questions here. In which case, so the top or the bottom, do you think the productivity of the worker would be better? Okay, and why? So this example, these answers to these will need to go on your workbook. And how might their productivity influence how they're described by their peers? Okay, so answer these two questions using these two here. Okay, this is the last activity for today, so I want you to get this task out that we completed last lesson, because we're going to use the characters that you identified to complete this task today. So what I want you to do is for each one, I want you to identify and list their goal. Then I want you to explain why they want to achieve it, and then I want you to state whether that is an intrinsic or an extrinsic motivation. So let's have an example. Let's say I was doing protagonist and I identified Marlin, so that's the dad from Finding Nemo. His goal is to find his missing son, Nemo. His motivation is because he loves his son and he feels responsible for his safety, which is intrinsic. So I've done protagonist, and now I'd have to do all the different characters that I may or may not have done for the rest of the others.